Hi everybody, welcome to the F-Bomb Fotolab, where we talk about film, analog, everything darkroom. So today we're going to talk about spotting and retouching. What you need to do to get rid of those pesky hairs and dust on your negatives and on your prints. For black and white prints, inks come in this little bottles with a stopper on it. Here's an example. Here's an example of a photograph that needs some spotting. The problem with film when you enlarge it is that everything gets to be larger. So every little piece of hair and every little piece of dust on your negatives will just blow up like you blow up your grain. Today we're going to use the inks, which are in these tiny bottles, a thick brush that has a very pointy end to it, because you actually want the ink to be soaked up inside the brush. Little ink watercolor palettes where I've put some ink already that's dried up. So you put a couple of drops and you let it dry up. If you don't have one of these, I also use an old RC print, an old photograph, and then behind it I have my color patch. So you make one of these and it lasts you forever. Okay, so the idea is to always keep your brush wet, and the wetter the better. So I have a little pot of water. I use a little espresso cup with a white base so that it doesn't tip over. I have just a white cloth just to be able to damp. So you want to first wet the brush, remove too much wetness, pick some of the dark of the ink, and then you get to choose the palette of gray that you're going to be working with. I have a print here that needs a lot of retouching. Let's get rid of these. I'll put circles so that you see. Dip it in, remove the water, go in the dark, choose your gray. It's easier if the paper is on the top, so you know which gray you're going to be dealing with. So I'm above the right density now. You're trying to emulate the silver pattern on the photograph. Actually make a dot and build it up. So you want to remove the white by literally just going up and down, and just poking it until the whole thing so there it goes. So I'll do this one too. Put just enough to cover it and not too much to make it black. We have the water here. Then we have a cloth just to remove some of the excess water. And then we've got the ink blotches, either in here or on the back of the paper. I'm going to use the one in the back of the paper. Here is a different print. This is an RC print. And there's a few spots on here that I want to remove. Let's remove this one. So water, take the excess water, go for the gray, and then we're going to try to find the perfect tone of gray, and we're going to build it up. Now I know the white is gone, so all I need to do is recreate the silver grain, and you can go a little bit darker on the top. And that's how you remove things on the photo paper. So you basically look for anything that looks unnatural, and you want it to make it look the most natural possible in order just to hide the defects. A nice black and white print that has no dust on it is always nicer to look at, because otherwise it's just noise. So right here you've got two other dots. They're in a bit of a wider spot. So we're going to use a lighter shade of the gray. Test, test, and build it up. So of course they always say it takes two artists to make a painting. You have one to make it, the other one to stop them. And I think it applies to spotting too. So before you go too far, stop and look somewhere else, and then come back to your problem area and see if you can even spot where you retouched it, And if you can't tell where it was, you've done a pretty good job. So like I said, you don't want to concentrate too much and really pick on those problems. You just want to do the bare minimum for you not to be able to recognize the problems. Of course, it's nicer when it's a bigger, more even white spot. The hairs are the most complicated. You just have to be a lot more precise with the hair. And remember, when you do the hair, mostly you want to get rid of the white areas and then work up on the details. So there you go. Don't forget the technique. First you have the water. You want your brush to be quite wet, and you can see right here how fine point my brush is. So you want a fat brush. This is a number 3. Basically 1, 2, or 3 watercolor brush is the best for this. So this is an RC print. The one we've done also earlier on this video is on fiber paper. The difference is RC is plastic, so therefore the ink doesn't sink into the paper as well as the fiber base. When you're doing fiber-based paper like this one, for example, the paper is more porous, so the ink will actually get inside the paper. And you can see here that I've retouched it, and pretty much everything is gone. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon, guys.